Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Warrior Report here on HBC TV 25. I'm Justin Barrientos. Thank you for joining us. We are brought to you by Russell & Associates and coming to you from the 111 Riverfront Building, the Latch Development Center in downtown Winona. Talking again, Warrior Football with head coach Brian Bergstrom. Thanks for being here today.
Yeah, you bet.
I guess I want to get your thoughts on the game first because it was an offensive shootout. Not necessarily in the first part of the first quarter, but for most of the game, it was an offensive shootout. And again, we say this every week, but you're in every game until the end, no matter what the score is. At halftime, you could be down, several scores. You find a way to come back and to make it a very interesting game. How do those games affect you and the team when you know that, almost anything that's thrown your way, you can still be in it towards the end?
Well, I think it's a mix of a bunch of emotions. Well, first off, playing football is fun, coaching football is fun, and there's a ton of emotion variety in a given week, in a given year, in a given game, in a given drive. So I think we were reminded of a few important things. One is that we're never out of it. We're never out of it in a football game. And we're never out of it in life. I hope that's the bigger lesson they learn is no matter what the circumstance is, just keep going, keep going, keep going. And it could be something in a football play, like the one where Caleb Skelly, the ball was tipped and he caught it 40 yards downfield. Yeah. Or it could be being down at halftime and saying we're not out of this. And I think what it points to us is because we've won some close games and we've lost some close games. And it's a great reminder of the importance of urgency and detail. And that's going to be our focus this week is the margin for error is so small. I mean, that's one of the best teams in the country.
Yeah.
And we almost beat them. And we should be excited about that. And we played probably the best half of football that I've seen our offensive play in 2 years. And that's exciting. But every play is so important, not just in the game, but all week long, all year long. And that's where we're hoping to take some of these lessons where we're trying to win games on Saturday by paying attention to the detail in January winter workouts. And it all matters.
I know that this is maybe like a media-created phrase, but is there such a thing as a moral victory? Because as you said, you did play one of the best teams in the country right to the end. You did have a chance at the end of the game to maybe get the game-tying score, send the game to overtime. And you've played in all these close games. You know you have a team that's good enough to compete with and possibly win against these opponents. Unfortunately, you've been coming up short this year.
Well, I think it probably was man-made at some point, but I think there is truth to it. And where there's truth to me is there's victory in how you play in the process and how you prepare. And then there's quote-unquote victory or win on the scoreboard. And they're not always linked together. And I think the average fan, the average team is going to put a bunch of stock in outcomes. What was the score? Did you win? Or it could be in business, did you make money? Are you better than this company? When in reality, we have to focus on the process of preparing and behaving like a champion, and then therefore executing like a champion, therefore probably scoring more points than the opponent, therefore also winning the game. So I see them as untied. So are there things that we're taking away that are positive victories from the game? You bet. The way our offense played, we were up and down special teams wise, but we're pulling out good things that we did special teams. And even though defensively we gave up a lot of points to a good offense, which we have to be better at, there was a stretch at the end of the first half where we had three straight stops, and then at the end of the game had 2 straight stops. And at the end of it, you got to stop them when you need to stop them to get it back to our offense to go in the game. It didn't matter that you'd given up points. You have to stop them on 4th down, which we did. So you bet we're pulling things that we got to keep doing, and we're pointing things out where we got to be better, because Minot will give us a great challenge this week.
All right, let's go back and let's recap the Minnesota State game. And let's start from the beginning, because I think it was a surprise to us in the broadcast booth that Minnesota State went pass heavy early on, and their top running back, one of the best running backs in the conference, one of the best running backs in the country, didn't hardly touch the ball at the beginning of the game. Was that a surprise to you guys as well, and how did that affect how you were game planning at the beginning of the game?
Yeah, it was a little surprising. We thought that they would come out and try to establish the run game a little bit more. But we also weren't, we were surprised and we weren't. We thought they would mix in some big explosive pass down the field type plays to try and create a deficit for us early in the game. I didn't think they were going to go that heavily. But we had practiced for a balanced attack, so we just leaned a little bit more to what they were doing, which we do every game. So, they're obviously a very good team, and they're well coached, and they got a ton of talent, and so do we. And that's a great lesson for our guys. That this felt like Saginaw a little bit, where we were down at half and came back, and just a little not enough time. It felt different than the Duluth loss, for example, where we just in the second half we weren't in a position to win the game at the end, and here we were.
Obviously, you're a defensive guy. You see your team go down by 21 points. We saw, during the breaks, the entire defensive unit meet on the sidelines and talk things over and try to figure out a way to stop Minnesota State and get back into the game. What were your thoughts at the moments that you were down 21 points and what you guys needed to do to get back in the game?
Yeah, well, my immediate thought was, this isn't good. I'm human too, so I knew it wasn't good, but it doesn't mean that you get negative. It doesn't mean you stop believing. It doesn't, we're ready for adversity. We're anticipating adversity happening. And in those moments, you are trying to calm them and just help them understand that it's going to be all right. Okay, we're going to get this figured out, and we're going to get back into this thing, and this is how. So I think you calm them, you get them centered again, you point out the adjustments that we're going to make, and some of them are schematical, and some of them are just, okay, kid made a good play there, and we got to be better next time. So, we're between every series, offensively and defensively, we're meeting. Sometimes it's just in position groups. Sometimes it's as a whole unit, and sometimes I'm on the bench with them, and sometimes I'm not because the offense is out there. So my job's kind of back and forth, and they did do a good job of kind of getting back into a rhythm, and the team did a great job of responding to the challenge at halftime, which was, we're better than this. Let's go show who we really are. And we were a better version of ourselves in the second half.
All right, let's talk about some of the positives first offensively. And obviously, Sylvia Campbell and Quentin Pringle, who are the two guests today, really played some of their best football, I think, of the season. And that you look at the stats and you see that 190 some yards for Sylvia Campbell, and Quentin Pringle had the big 75-yard touchdown run. Walk us through a couple of those plays and tell us what you saw offensively for your team.
Well, with Quentin, he had a big run early in the game, and it was a play that we had success with in other weeks. It was a play that we had seen Mankato be hurt with for a couple weeks. So we knew it was going to be a good play, and it was blocked up perfect by the offensive line. It was called at the right time by Coach Frichte, and Quentin did what he does, and nobody was catching him once he breaks through. So that was a spark for us, certainly. But he ran the ball and caught the ball well the rest of the game too. And Sylvia, he makes some amazing catches, and it's fun to see. He did what we've been seeing all year in practice, and we've seen glimpses of throughout the season, but he just did it numerous times against top-level talent, and that was kind of a breakthrough for him, certainly, and both of them. What we've seen that is them growing in maturity in our system. They're both transfers, and they both need time to learn our playbook, but learn the culture too. And now you'd never know that they had transferred in this offseason. They're doing a great job on the field, but they're just great teammates. And we don't look just for good football players. We're looking for good football players, yes, that are also great human beings, and I mean, they're perfect, but great human beings trying to be their best, and they're going to strive for their best in the classroom too. And because it's not just about football, it's about who you're becoming as a man and as a student. And when you do those things well, you're usually a pretty good football player too.
I want to ask one thing that I know we have to ask just to kind of clear up what happened, and that's towards the end of the game, Jamon Williams had the penalty. I think it was a blow to the head of the wide receiver, and we weren't sure if that was a targeting call or not. Can you shed any light on what happened in that play at the end of the game?
Yeah, so the ref didn't get on the microphone and state it, but yes, it was a targeting call,
Okay.
and so he had to sit out the rest of the half, and then the first half of this next game.
Okay.
That's the rule for, you got to sit out 2 halves. So if that would have been in the first half, he would have sat out that half. The second half, then he'd come back, but because it was in the second half. And the ruling there, I think it was the correct call. When a receiver or any player is defenseless, you can't hit him anywhere near the head with any part of your body, which happened. It wasn't intentional. Jamon was just trying to make a play and was physical and did a good job. He was just up a little bit too high. So he'll be chomping at the bit after halftime to get back in the game this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's unfortunate that he's got to sit a half because he had to come out of the game because he was playing so well during the game, but so was the rest of the defense there in the second half. Talk about their resiliency in being able to stop Minnesota State at some key times.
Yeah, like I mentioned before, that when you truly are going to play in a 1-0 mentality, and that's a huge part of our culture of where we just compartmentalize drives and plays and quarters and games. It doesn't matter what happened last time. So we can't let last drive, the fact that we gave up a touchdown, impact this drive, or last play impact this play. And they did a great job, as well as any, I think, of handling a lot of adversity, but when it was really on the line at the end of the game and the end of the half where we needed things to happen, found ways to execute. And you have to be able to kind of shut the book and open up a new book, like each drive, and was proud of their ability to do that, because that's not easy. In the back of your head, you know what happened last time, and that takes a ton of grit to be able to come back and know that this may go not well again, but I'm willing to take that risk, and that's the courage that our guys showed and I'm proud of our whole football team and offense, defense, and special teams.
All right, this week it's Minot State, 1 o'clock. It's the last game of the season, and I think it's difficult maybe to put into words when you know that it's going to be the end of the year. What does this game mean to you? What does this game mean to all the players?
Well, I think it means a ton. One, because it's an opportunity to play a game, and we only get 11, and we work all year for 11 days. And it's very public how we do, and everyone gets to have an opinion about the game, which is college athletics. It's cool, but it means a ton because we get to play. It means a ton because we're at home. It means a ton because it's senior day, and we have 10 seniors that are. There's a couple that could come back, which we're still working on, but they're going to go through senior day and make a decision after the season that have truly laid a huge part of their life. I'm not going to say their lives down, but a huge part of their life for this team and for this school and for the program and for their teammates. And to be able to go out for 60 more minutes and do it with your teammates is special. So the challenge, why we have such great urgency about senior day is that the challenge is to have every guy have that mentality that I only have 60 more minutes left, because nothing's guaranteed. And if we have that last play mentality, like this could be my last play, this could be my last game, one, it's honoring to the seniors. It's honoring to everybody that came before you. It lays a foundation and standards for people to follow you. But in reality, that's a better way to play anyway, all the time. So if you're a freshman, play that way. If you're a sophomore, play that way. You'll never look back and say that I wish I gave too much. I was too focused. You'll never say that. And I think it's a great reminder of that, and just give a big hug to our seniors and tell them we love them and super proud of them and super thankful for them, and let's go get this win for you. And so I can't wait.
All right. Well, thank you for coming in this week, and good luck against Minot this weekend.
Appreciate it.
All right. And just a reminder, it's at 1 o'clock, a game that you can watch right here on HBC TV 25 if you can't be there in person at Maxwell Field. We're going to take a break here on the Warrior Report. When we come back, we'll talk with Sylvia Campbell right after this.
For over 60 years, Russell & Associates has been helping individual and business clients achieve what matters to them. Our trusted advisors have the expertise and experience to help with long-term plans for personal finance, business finance, or wealth management. Focus on what matters most. Call Russell & Associates certified public accountants and advisors today at 507-452-3100 or visit us online at russellcpafirm.com.
And welcome back to the Warrior Report here on HBC TV 25. We are brought to you by Russell & Associates, coming to you from the 111 Riverfront Building, the Latch Development Center in downtown Winona. Sylvia Campbell joins us. Thanks for being here today. You had an incredible game against Minnesota State. Now, I'll throw this out at you first because I don't know if you know this or not. It was the 10th best single game yardage game in Warrior history. 192 yards, 5 catches, 2 touchdowns. And a couple of those were, I guess, what we call circus catches, or they were interesting because you either ripped them away from the defender or they bounced around and you got them. Can you kind of tell us a little bit about what's going through your mind when that play is happening?
What's going through my mind is probably just making the play. You know what I'm saying? Coaches put me in positions to make plays, and that's my job as a receiver, to just go out and do whatever I can to make a play. So when the ball's in the air, we're taught to high point the ball. And when you do that, success comes. So being able to do that for my team always a good feeling. So yeah, it's always nice.
What about the concentration needed to watch that ball? Because obviously it's, I wouldn't say easy, but it's easier to catch it when it's thrown directly to you. But if it's bouncing around and you have to try to find some way to get a hand on it or get underneath the ball or hold on to it, what about the concentration?
It's all about just playing slow and letting the game come to you, man. You know what I'm saying? Just playing the game slow. It's like almost make it a slow motion in your head almost. Just when the ball's coming, just whatever you can, just keep the focus on the ball and just make it your number one priority, just to make the catch, and that's what I did.
All right. One of the fun things for us being up in the broadcast booth is being able to see the things that people don't necessarily see at home when they're watching the game, and that's you celebrating on the sideline with your teammates when you come off after a touchdown or something like that. Tell us a little bit about that and what that's like to be able to celebrate a touchdown.
Yeah, after scoring a touchdown, you're coming back to the sideline and seeing your team just jumping up and just saying, "Let's go," and just, wow, some words that they probably shouldn't say. So, but yeah, it's a nice feeling, and celebrating with them is always nice. Just coach always talks about celebrating with each other, and so doing that is also taking coaching and doing things as a team, because hard work we do together. So it's not only, it looks like I'm the one scoring the touchdown, but it's a collective. It's a collective group work, so yeah.
Okay, we're kind of going in reverse here as we talk about things, but as you started out the season, you played a little bit against Saginaw Valley, and then you didn't play very much, or you didn't get any targets in the next 2 games. Tell us what that was like to be a part of this team, but not get a chance to contribute quite yet.
It was, not gonna lie, it was a little tough, because I'm a competitor and I always want to be on the field, being able to contribute to my team. But it was, like I said, it was a struggle. The first game, I was thrown out there. I made a catch for 15 yards. Then there was a touchdown that they called out, but we don't talk about that.
Yeah, right. I don't want to get you in trouble.
Then the next weeks, just still working, trying to work my way up the depth chart, just trying to help my team in any way I can. But Minji was the 3rd week, I believe, and I was able to go in first play. I got in, I scored again. They called it incomplete, out of bounds, but it was in. But we don't talk about that, like we said. But yeah, it was overall a struggle. But never just giving up and just trusting the coaches and just allowing them to just do what their, you know what I'm saying, their knowledge, do what they know. So, yeah.
All right. You came here from Carthage College.
Yes,
well,
sir.
what was the decision to come here to Winona State, and how did you even find out about Winona State?
Yeah, I came from Carthage. I went there straight out of high school. I was blessed to get an opportunity to play college because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to, just because of the non-offers that I got, and I didn't get that many offers. So, yeah, it was just cool, just being able to play college football. Like, I started there. I started playing right away, so I didn't have to use a red shirt or anything. So just being able to jump right in the fire, get a experience of college football was nice. After my second year there, the season wrapped up, and I just wanted to test out my options because, like I said, I'm a competitor, and I always wanted to. I want to respect myself enough to challenge myself a little more. I feel like D3 was nice, but I feel like I could do more, and I say that humbly. But I found out about Winona, so I entered the transfer portal, and then stuff started to rile up with like other D3 schools, but it just started to die down for a little bit. And then Coach Frichty, he reached out to me, and it just started rolling, and then it just became my best option. I'm so glad that I did it, and so. Yeah, led me to Winona.
All right. One thing people may not know about you, when you were at Carthage, you were also a punter as well.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about that and
Yeah.
what your punting career was like.
Yeah, punting was cool, man. Just like I said, I always want to be able to contribute to my team any way I can, whether that's punting the ball, receiving, throwing. Just, you know what I'm saying, just let me know. I'll do whatever I can to make it happen. Yeah, so just taking a punting job over at Carthage was cool. I did some punting in high school. It was always like a backup punter, just for like emergency. But yeah, taking that job kind of felt like a huge role because it started to help me understand field position and just help me understand the game a little more. And people may not see that, but that's what it does.
That's awesome. And then last question, Minot State coming up this weekend. What do you need to do? What do the Warriors need to do to get a win this weekend?
We just got to focus on us and just keep playing as if we have more games to come, and just not approaching this as if this is our last game, which it is. But just playing free and just having fun at the end of the day, because it's a game, but it's much more than just all seriousness, and you just have fun with the guys and just enjoy the time that we have and just get ready for Saturday.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming in here, and it was great to see you be able to do what you can against Minnesota State. That was awesome to watch.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
All right. Thank you. We're going to take a break here on the Warrior Report. When we come back, Quentin Pringle will join us right after this.
For over 60 years, Russell & Associates has been helping individual and business clients achieve what matters to them. Our trusted advisors have the expertise and experience to help with long-term plans for personal finance, business finance, or wealth management. Focus on what matters most. Call Russell & Associates certified public accountants and advisors today at 507-452-3100 or visit us online at russellcpafirm.com.
And welcome back to the Warrior Report here on HBC TV 25, brought to you by Russell & Associates, coming to you from the 111 Riverfront Building in downtown Winona. Quentin Pringle joins us. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
You transferred from Eastern Kentucky,
Yes.
so tell me a little bit about your time at Eastern Kentucky and what it was like playing for them.
It was great. I played my freshman year a lot on special teams. Injuries happened over there, so it made me like want to try something new. And then I came here, just because when I took my visit, the people around me, like the people they introduced me to, seemed like genuine people, and they said that they was working towards a common goal, and it sounded great.
All right, you talked about injuries, and unfortunately that happened in Saginaw. I think you took the opening kickoff, and then after that, somewhere in the first series, I think you got hurt. Tell me a little bit about what happened and what you need to do to work your way back into the lineup.
It was an MCL sprain, so I took a hit to the knee. It just bent awkwardly, but with treatment, rehab, working hard, lifting, trying to get it stronger to come back. I was able to come back.
All right. What does it feel like to be able to come back from an injury, and what's that first play like when you get back on the field?
It's relieving, like, you know, just to bounce back from something like that, you know, mentally, it takes a toll on you. So to come back and be able to perform, it's a great feeling.
All right. Certainly against Minnesota State and even before that, we've seen your explosiveness, we've seen your speed and what you can do out on the field. Tell me about that 75-yard play against Minnesota State, though, because you were pretty much untouched.
Yeah.
What did that look like to you on the field?
It was great, just the whole opening up. That's credit to the O-line, to the fullback, Zerf, who cleared it out, just following him. From practice, going on to the game to see it open up like that was great.
All right. When you see a hole like that develop, what's in your mind? Are you thinking touchdown? Or are you thinking let's get as many yards as you can?
Touchdown.
Touchdown.
Touchdown, for sure.
And then on plays when you're not able to score and maybe that hole closes up early and you end up getting hit or the play stops, what is that like? I mean, you're obviously expecting to be able to go all the way down the field and then all of a sudden you get that impact. What is that like?
Well, of course you want to score every play, but as long as we're getting yards and getting first downs, movement, I feel like it's still positive. Mm-hmm. So I still look at it as a positive play.
All right. And then the other thing is that there's a lot of talented running backs at Winona State. And so it's always kind of, you know, fighting to be able to get in there in the lineup and get your handoffs. What is that kind of brotherhood like, knowing that there's so many other guys that are there as well?
It's very supportive. Mm-hmm. Everybody supports one another. They cheer for one another for when they go in and do a play. Like, K-Ron had a big game the other day, you know, and I'm there, like, and I'm happy for all of them, and they happy for me. So it's just great to like bond with them, get to know them, and see them perform, and then for me to perform, and they cheer me on too.
All right. The other big thing about being a running back is pass protection and trying to get some blocks to allow your quarterback some time. What is that side of the game like for you?
Some improvement I need to do, but I've been doing well to protect Cole. We work on it a lot in practice, you know, learning who we got in protection and going over with the O-line as well. So it helps. All
right. So from what I understand, you're a graduate student, but you still have one more year of eligibility left.
Yeah.
Are you planning to come back to Winona State and use that extra year?
Yeah.
What is that decision for you? I mean, I know you have a limited time to be able to play football. Does that kind of add into your decision?
Yeah. You know, I just love playing, so of course I want to use my last year of eligibility, and then also to play and then graduate with my master's degree.
Okay. In what?
Organizational leadership.
Okay. And what do you plan to do with that?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay. All right.
Still looking.
All right. What does this off season look like for you then? What are some of the things that you need to do to get ready for one more season of football?
Definitely training hard, getting stronger, getting faster, keeping my body healthy, eating right, bringing the guys up because we got a lot to do, a lot of work to do so we can have a great season next year.
All right. Is the plan then to maybe stay within this area? Do you go back home? Do you do a mix of the two?
I do a mix of the two, train at home, but then, you know, most of the time I'll be out here working.
All right. And then final question for you. Minot State is the next game. It's unfortunately the last game of the season. What does that game mean to you? What does that mean to the team?
Just finishing strong, getting closure, showing what we could be and what we're going to be next year.
All right. And what do you need to do? What does the team need to do to get a win this weekend?
Just work hard every day in practice, grind, and I think that we'll be able to show like the same effort that we had in the second half of last game, the whole game next game.
All right. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us here, and congratulations what you've done, and good luck against Minot this weekend.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for watching the Warrior Report here on HBC TV 25. We'll see you next week.